education must be first given to all, no matter race, gender, or economic status, to make a good foundation of education.
Our institutions in Mexico, many of them naturally are inaccessible.
Let's speak up and make our voices be heard.
Hi, I'm Barbara Harrison. Those are some of the young people from across the globe who responded to a call for video entries for a project called Through the Lens of the Youth, sponsored by UNITAR and Barbara Harrison Media. The international contest was created to make the world, and especially its young people, aware of the United Nations Sustainable Goals, goals created as a shared blueprint for people and the planet to create a world of peace and prosperity.
Sustainable Development Goals were adopted by 193 member states in September of 2015 at the United Nations General Assembly in New York. But that seminal moment, September 2015, was the result of the previous 4.5 years of negotiations or debates, dialogue, perhaps a holistic approach to try and understand what is it that our world needs up until the year 2030 to actually improve the quality of life of its citizens. As long as we engage more with the young generation, I think we will maximize our capacity to train people, and more as we use technology, or we also enhance the impact of the United Nations.
Well, under your direction, Alex, UNITAR is doing a wonderful job in reaching out. We have loved the projects that we have worked on with you, and without any further ado, I want to introduce you to the video makers who have been working so hard and diligently to tell the stories of the sustainable goals. Here they are.
As somebody who tried to explain what's wrong, to explain what's the problem, I would really like to see some solution, innovative solution where our rivers are harnessed, not dumped to, where our dirt does not get dumped into it, where our waste system is not just dumping towards the river. So I would love to see a place where the rivers are a place where people hang out, where people, drink coffee at, and everything, not just a disposal system.
We forget that without water, there would be no growth, no vitality, and no hope. As in any community, problems require collaborative solutions from various actors. Effective river management is needed to increase the usability of the river and minimize the harm the contamination creates on human health and biodiversity.
My video is about climate action, and it shows, in the beginning of the video, it shows me doing simple stuff to help Mother Earth, like conserve water, planting trees, and help Mother Nature. And the next part of the video, it talks about how my community is doing and how climate change is affecting my community, flash floods, heavy rains, and so much more. We are connected to one another through technology, since we are members of the Generation Z. No matter where we are in the planet, we have a lot in common. Let's speak up and make our voices be heard. I really want to become an environmentalist because I want to save the earth and help it become a better place for the next generation of kids and people.
water goat device really brought together a lot of different partners, people that work in the environmental realm every day, and people that really are not too familiar with the environmental realm but understand the importance of protecting our environment. And focusing specifically on sustainable goal number 17 of coming together, of having partnerships for the collective goal, I'm very proud to be talking about one of our biggest projects we focused on over the last year in our environment and sustainability, which is this water goat, which you can see behind me. The water goat plays a very important role in protecting our local waterway, ensuring that trash and other items that are in the waterway can sort of be siphoned off, is to not negatively impact wildlife, sea life, the quality of our water and all of that type of stuff, which is very, very important. So I thought it was a great culmination of different partners, both internally and externally, and really represented what we were able to do very well.
Because I am very fascinated and I'm very interested in health. I am very passionate about promoting the welfare of people. So I found health and well-being very fascinating because most people don't pay attention to it. It is ignored because people think that for us to achieve this specific goal, we need to depend on the government. Hence, we need to be like active also as individuals. We need to take part in this goal so that it can be like hugely achieved. So I was so excited to talk about good health and well-being because it's very important. It's a very pivotal goal. If there's one thing that we all need to be cognizant of is that good health and well-being can have a very significant impact on our overall functionality. So for us to be more productive, to contribute to our communities, and to take good decisions, not only for ourselves, but for everyone around us, we need to be in a good health state.
And what do you hope will come of this? If people see your video, what are you hoping the message will be that might reach the rest of the world?
I'm hoping that people will be informed because the reason why these things are ignored, it's because of lack of information. So if they find out about this video, they'll be able to take informed decisions and to be mindful regarding their health.
The video focuses on two youth activists who had lived through poverty. One who went through the childcare system, and then one who had grown up in a community that was that had a large stigma around it for being a poorer neighborhood. And what stuck out to me the most was that both mentioned that the importance of just understanding the humanity behind everyone. There was this moment when his name is Kai, and he went through the child program in Ireland, and he was talking about this homeless person that he knew that would sit out on a bridge, and people just walk by him because whenever you would ask for money, they would be like, oh, he's gonna, just spend it on drugs or whatever. But in reality, he lost his family and lost everything he, had. And so he had nowhere else to go.
This experience has taught me what a young person needs to grow. People from disadvantaged communities are seen as bad people, but that's not true.
And so the idea of just there is so much more to everyone else, and we can't be held back by our assumptions or our preconceived notions really stuck out to me and was really touching.
So I know that in Nigeria, there's still some sort of gender discrimination, and not every child is allowed to really speak up. So I knew that I had to center it around women, first off, and I knew I had to also bring different pioneers, students, mentors, people who have already been in the business or in the act for at least 10 years, 5 years, it doesn't matter. And then I knew I also had to involve myself in what I have already been doing in school.
Over the years, I saw children on the street my age sleeping, not going to school, and I thought, what will become of me if I keep quiet? What will become of the next generation if they keep quiet? Where is the better Nigeria that we want to see? Where is the better society that we want to live in? I started researching. I started meeting new people, finding my purpose.
So my childhood wasn't really all rosy. I had my own fair share of high school problems, financial problems. And in Nigeria, where I come from, not every child is opportune to have access to education, and not every child is access to have their voice out there. So I just knew that I had to do something that is linked with me and linked with children that I could possibly help. So I just thought, okay, the quality education is really what I need to speak about, is really what I need to focus on, because not only am I affected, but other children in Nigeria as well are also affected.
Well, I made the video and I would like the world to be able to see this and understand how it is for us over here. And I also want to educate the people of my community on the need to conserve water, because I believe that water is a very basic necessity for healthy growth and survival. And in my community, 60% are not literate. So it's hard to convey this message, but I would want to educate them so they can have the knowledge on the need of conserving water.
So the need to conserve water is an important factor for the community. Some includes repairing broken or leaky taps, switching to showers while in the bathroom to avoid water wastage, and never using the toilet as a waste basket. I believe we must all come together as a society and as individuals to fight for the availability of water. Little individual acts would go a long way to curb water scarcity.
Individually, it would take a whole lot, but I believe that with people that make decisions for my community, it will be better. It will be able to reach out to the mass in general.
I used I use my country as an example because Indonesia is actually a developing country, and honestly, there are a lot of places or region that are still underdeveloped. And then I use that as an example, as a motivation for me to write down what are the ideas, like what are the problems, because SDGs are goals to fix problems, right? And therefore, I try to find the problem first, and then try to dive deep into what can I do to solve them.
Picture this. Not everyone has access to clean, safe, and healthy facilities like clean water, breathable air, sustainable buildings, parks, and workspaces. It's a big challenge we face globally. And by focusing on resilient infrastructure, inclusive and sustainable industrialization, and innovation, this triple I gives us the tool we need to address these problems head on.
I usually share my thoughts and my experience with people who are close to me, but then with this event, I can share with a lot of people, and I hope that there are a lot of young people, such as me, who are able to use whatever they can, or their abilities, their hobbies, or their interests to bring a good contribution to the world.
I was like, okay, I feel like to equip people to be able to actually work towards sustainable development and anything of that likes the economic growth, because I'm also studying economics or economic growth and development. So yeah, I felt like with sustainable development goal number 4, it talks to a lot of things, because education is the core for every single thing. So I grew up around the village and the small towns most of the time, and I got to realize that there's still some kids who don't even go to school. These people have dreams, and they could also, and we're also trying to aim, first of all, with the Vision 2036. Like I said, there's a great synergy between it and the Sustainable Development Goals. So with Vision 2036, I was like, okay, so there's prosperity for all here. That's what you want. But how is that going to happen if we are not getting anybody, we're not giving everyone access to a great and equitable education?
I picked SDG 6, clean water and sanitation.
And why did you zero in on that one?
I think it doesn't get as much attention as it should.
I noticed open defecation was common in the states where I served. Yep, it's that bad. The state I served in was ranked 36 out of the 36 states in the country in 2020 due to the prevalence of the issue.
And then from my observation in African communities, it's very popular and common to see men stand by the roadside and pee, probably because they think it's okay, or when you have a small child, if a child wants to pee, just say take them to the roadside, right? So it breeds that culture of open defecation, but it's not necessarily something females can do, because females need more of a covering to do their business. And then it made me realize that even culture and behavior has a very huge role it plays in SDG 6. And even if we decide to build toilets everywhere, if we don't correct the psychology behind that thinking and that upbringing, the problem is not necessarily going to get solved. So that's why I decided to focus on it.
I actually want to help the people in need in Madagascar, especially because people here suffer a lot. Most of the people are become beggars on the street, and it's really sad. So I really want to help people all around the world, especially Madagascar.
Madagascar is so far from reaching this goal because of low income, high unemployment rate, and inappropriate jobs. To achieve this goal, the Malagasy government should be committed to create jobs for his people by facilitating the legal, private, and personal businesses to absorb the unemployed people.
I can say that right now a lot of children are studyless, especially in some African countries. Are a lot of girls, especially girls, are educationless.
Still, I didn't give up on my goal. One day, when I enter the best university, I will stand in front of the mirror and be proud of myself. I'll make it.
I wanted to do gender equality because, well, I've seen it a lot happen. Like as I said in my video, I see it happen at school. The boys and the girls at my school would try to make people feel like less worthy of themselves.
We can heal a broken world by updating our beliefs on gender so that we all feel safe and valued. Our planet can be healthier and more at peace because countries are in a state of growth and expansion rather than focused on control and domination. Thank you for spending this time with me, and I thank you for this opportunity to share my hope that gender equality becomes a reality for mine and future generations all over the world.
I've noticed this, that girls will try to do whatever they can, but it just won't ever be good enough. There is always going to be something that is not right. And I was thinking, this is not fair. This needs to be addressed as soon as possible. So that's why I try to put out some awareness in the world.
I ended up choosing like in the SDG 12 because I like environmental stuff. I'm a huge fan of biology. I'm a huge fan of Earth, and I believe that it's an important thing about sustainable consumption and production on how we can protect the Earth and all the life on it, as well as the future for it as well.
Due to the alarming increase on product demands such as too much food and packaging, has led to many problems such as an increase in harmful waste products and an excessive need for raw natural materials to make said products. SDG 12, or Sustainable Consumption and Production, is not simply about protecting natural resources, but rather protecting our environment and future generations to come.
Well, I chose quality education SDG number 4 because I really thought it was vital for humanity's evolution and all of the things. Also, another SDGs, so life on land, life on water, or these things. I think all of them have like key backbones, and one of them, for most of them, would be quality education, I would say.
Overall, without quality education, the world will not be able to progress and would most likely de-evolve. Listening to aspiring people certified in their field of work, I can summarize that they believe education must be first given to all, no matter race, gender, or economic status, to make a good foundation of education.
Quality education, it's aimed for all ages, but mostly the youth need it because they're going into a new generation. And I thought it would be important to bring out all sides of the aspects, so world leaders, youth, and then a lot of people, and then merge them together and bring out the strong point that everyone's arguing for. And I thought that would maybe be a good perspective to tell everyone.
I am brought up in a family where gender equality has always been the top priority. I and my brother are always treated equally, but in my society where gender inequality is always at the top, I often used to, question myself, why is there so much difference between my family and my society? And as I grew up, I came to know that gender equality is the basic right, basic need that every individual deserves to have. And I just wanted to promote this gender equality. I just wanted to bring equality in my home, in my society, in my country. So I just chose Sustainable Development Goal number 5, gender equality.
Being grown up watching the huge gap between my supportive family and the outdated societal perspective, I was always in confusion with thousands of questions. With time, I realized that every individual, irrespective in gender, deserves to soar to their fullest potential.
Well, since I'm in this technical field, like engineering, it is said that engineering is only for boys, not for females. Yes, to some extent, till now, by the grace of God, I have got equal opportunities in my home, in my college, in my schools. But there are still so many of my friends who have not got the equal right like they deserve to, just because they're female.
I think throughout our lives we've been, focusing on many SDGs, and something that I've learned a lot in my sustainability classes is that it's so important to think about things systemically. We talk about systems thinking a lot. I'm a systems engineer, like I'm studying that too. But also when you're thinking about solving social issues, you cannot think about things individually. You have to think about how they connect to each other. And what we found was that the SDG 16 was encompassing all of those issues, then something we're really trying to do is talk about data and transparency. And so that's kind of how we felt that this SDG really represented what we're trying to do about trying to connect all of these issues that, you know, we grew up seeing that unfortunately there hasn't been justice for a lot of these issues in our own city.
Sustainable Development Goal 16 makes a call for peace, justice, and strong institutions. For this SDG to be achieved in Mexico, we need to make open governance a reality.
Under the law, congressional votes, attendance records, and bill proposals should all be available to the public and accessible. If 2 college students were able to work on this as a hobby, there is no excuse for a government to not make this a reality with a better budget and access to information.
In the 21st century, technology can be and will be our ally to strengthen institutions.
Queremos un gobierno abierto para México
y el mundo.
But we felt that we as young people didn't have access to things. And then later on, because we have been friends for like 6, almost 8 years maybe, like for a long time, we grew up together and we kind of like understood that it was not only a case of tokenism for being young. It was also a case that our institutions in Mexico, many of them naturally are inaccessible. And because of that, they're not as strong as they could be.
I greatly admire the passion that this generation, this young generation has to make our planet better. I respect to the utmost the commitment that young people around the world has shown on exactly what I said before when I was talking about sustainable development goals, how to protect the environment, how to protect the needy, how to ensure solidarity, how to find ways in which gender equality is better understood and achieved, how to ensure that access to health services are understood as a human right, access to quality education is understood as a human right, and so on and so forth. So this new generation, my respect to them, and I'll simply tell you that we are very optimistic at the United Nations because of young people around the world. We remain committed and motivated at the United Nations because of the example that this next generation is giving us.
I'm here at the President Franklin Delano Roosevelt Memorial in Washington, D.C. Inscribed on the walls next to the statue of the first U.S. delegate to the United Nations, Eleanor Roosevelt, is a quote from FDR's final term. The structure of world peace cannot be the work of one man, or one party, or one nation. It must be a peace which rests on the cooperative effort of the whole world. Let that be a goal for all of us, inspired by our youth. On behalf of UNITAR and Barbara Harrison Media, thank you for joining us.